Everybody was shocked when Liam was appointed as a head coach for Chelsea. Let me put it in other words, the new old thing, which is vertical playing instead of depending on position and passing all the time. It doesn't mean that Liam doesn't count on holding the position, but he does it in one place. He does it to beat the opponent when he builds up from the back. To understand this, let's dive in. Before getting into the tactics, I just want to say one thing. That Liam probably is not the best coach at the moment, but he has a huge potential and his results shows it all. He played 12 games with Chelsea. He won in 8 games, drew in 2 games, and let's not forget that he drew against Burnley when he was playing 10 against 11, and he had the position and he had the chances. They created 12 chances in this game. Purely Chelsea dominated in this game, and the other 2 losses were against Arsenal, who's the best team in the Premier League at the moment. And let's clear it out, they lost it in the Carabao Cup, which I think Chelsea doesn't even care about it. But this guy's tactic is impressing. And as any new coach, he needs time to evolve his philosophy and for his players to understand him better. And now, let's get with the first tactic. Liam loves to play with vertical play. We could see that against both Palace and Napoli, Chelsea consistently looked to exploit channels via direct passes to Estevao because his ability to pin defenders high and roll aggressively into central areas has become a cornerstone of the new attack. Maresca's era, Estevao wasn't playing much. He plays 1 game and stays in the bench for 2 games. And this is exactly what I love about Liam. He's stable with his formation. The 11 that he plays with every game are there. Yes, there is minor changes, but stability is the key to build a team. And counting on Estevao is a correct decision in my opinion. And in Palace's game, Estevao proves that he's the correct person to count on in the final third when he was able to provide an assist for the second goal. And this goal showed the positional links between him and Pedro. When Estevao found pockets between the lines to feed Pedro in the half space. And this show it all when I said earlier that Liam always targets the half space. The second tactic I want to talk about is Liam's build up, or Chelsea. They're one now. Chelsea's build up. Wow, 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 wow. Especially when he was able to overcome the high press that Conte implemented at Maradona's stadium. He wasn't trying to hold the position a lot in the back. He tried to play with 4 passes and get to the next line. We started seeing counting on Caicedo and Santos as a double pivot, and Enzo Fernández comes and helps them as a third midfielder. Yes, he's close to be playing behind the striker, but he gives density in the central midfield. That's why we've seen Chelsea able to hold the position and play vertical passes. Sometimes he was counting on Estevao and sometimes on Palmer as a right winger, but these 2 players are fantastic. My wish is that they play together one day. We haven't seen it yet because Palmer most of the time was injured And we've seen him against Wolverhampton, he scored a hat-trick. Liam utilizes Enzo Fernández to be the tempo of the build-up. Sometimes he goes back and play as a third defender to control the tempo and try it in front of him, Caicedo and Santos. And sometimes we've seen him playing behind the striker. He leads the high press, and Enzo is fantastic with this. Chelsea, during the build-up against Napoli, when they faced a high press, they didn't try to maneuver the ball. They tried to get rid of it as soon as possible, especially when Napoli's tight marking and central density forced Cucurella and others into difficult long balls. Chelsea struggled to escape the press initially. Liam, now I want to get to the defensive side, and this is going to be very short because he just played 12 games. I don't want to judge him based on 12 games, especially with the defensive side. Liam loves to play with the high line. We've seen this happening in Napoli's game, especially in minute 68. Despite the pressure from Napoli at this moment, Chelsea maintained a high line. When Cucurella left gaps while man marking, a player like Chalobah stepped in with a vital clearance to prevent a third Napoli goal. And this is kinda alarming, especially when you play in the Premier League, and we all know that Premier League is a high pace league and teams would destroy you with the high defensive lane. So I don't want to judge it much. Maybe in the upcoming episode we're gonna get into the defensive shape more. The third part I want to talk about is Liam's mastery during the halftime. He knows how to fix his team when they're not performing well in the first half. I want to take a moment and thank you for being here. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe and give us that like button. That would help us a lot. After losing 2-1 in the first half at Napoli's game, Rosenior or Liam brought in Palmer, and this introduction helped Chelsea to implement his philosophy, which is direct play. And Palmer, it was vital in this, especially when he was able to provide an assist to Pedro's goal. And in my opinion, when Palmer is 100% fit, he's gonna change Chelsea's shape, and we're gonna see Chelsea's more aggressive because Palmer is crazy with direct play. The second substitution that I was amazed about was Gittins. Why? Because Gittin was able to stretch the defensive line of Napoli and create a chaos in the left flank. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know where was this player in Enzo Maresca's era, but Liam started giving him a chance, and I would like to see him more. And I hope this guy utilizes the chance, because back in the days when he was at Dortmund, he was a killer. And the final tactic I want to talk about, or change if you would call it, is the false nine that Pedro plays. Super interesting, especially him connecting between the lines. It's unbelievable. We've seen him with Palmer. It's crazy how he drops deep and try to connect with the playmaker, or there's no any playmaker nowadays. So with number 10 and Palmer, let's keep in mind he's the first player he scored a brace for Chelsea since 2021. Wow, such a long time. We could see here his first goal against Napoli came from turning his back to goal on the edge of the area, a hallmark of Liam's desire for the striker to come low to connect play. This clarifies Liam's philosophy. For 1 second, I thought the false nine was over in this era. I thought most of the coaches would count on players like Holland, Harry Kane. Like most of the teams we've seen nowadays, they try to have a striker who actually score goals. But Liam, adapting the idea of having a false number nine, which reminds us of the best false nine ever, Lionel Messi, without comparison, of course. But in my opinion, Chelsea still needs a striker, especially what we've seen against Burnley. They were able to create 12 chances and they had an XCG almost three goals, but they weren't able to score except one goal. Uh, I I don't know, but I think the false number nine, isn't it over? Especially with nowadays tactics, and we've seen Pep Guardiola avoiding a false number nine, and he asked and demanded for Holland. Michael Arteta, who was adapting false number nine, he brought in Gyökeres. So I don't know. I want to hear that from you. Do you think the false number nine is still working at this era, or Liam should bring in a striker like Holland Gyökeres? I don't know where he's gonna find it in the next season. With this, thank you for staying tuned, and give us that like button if you haven't, and don't forget to subscribe because we need your help. Peace.